Good morning, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us, especially on such short notice. We just wanted to get with you guys. We're opening our parks or our Love Louisiana Outdoors program for round two starting March 7th, and it will be open, an open application period. So you can submit your application anytime between March 7th and the last day will be June 1st. You can email the applications to me. This is Christy Galley, by the way. My email address is in the presentation. We are actually recording the presentation for future reference, which I'm sure most of y'all saw. We invited you today because we saw some common errors in the applications. We just want to try to correct them for round two. Also, some of the applications were disqualified. We have been working on getting the letters out, hopefully today or tomorrow. If your application was disqualified, you will receive the letter today or tomorrow explaining why and what you need to do to fix it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the slideshow. So this is our agenda for today. We're going to do just one quick little housekeeping item. We're going to go over some eligible activities, some ineligible costs and activities, procurement, citizen participation, common mistakes from round one, and some final notes, and we'll open it up to questions if y'all have any. So for housekeeping,
Christy, sorry, you're just showing still the main screen, not the presentation.
Oh, okay. Okay, now can you see it?
Now it's good. You're on the
Okay.
housekeeping screen.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so if we requested revisions in round one, those have to be to us no later than March 11th at 4:30 to be considered for round one. If they're not received by that date, they will automatically be moved to round two for consideration, and you will have to resubmit. Oh, I'm sorry too. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the Q&A box. Thank you. Okay, so this is just the guidelines for the Love Louisiana Outdoor CDBG CV. So 16,750,000 has been allocated from the CARES Act to develop, rehabilitate outdoor fitness and recreational parks in jurisdictions that meet national objective requirements of low to moderate income area benefit, to provide suitable space for activities to encourage physical distancing and support social distancing guidance. So 10 million of that will be available on a competitive basis to municipalities that are at least 51% low to moderate income based on the HUD summary data. So per entity grant amounts by population, if your population is 5,000 or more, it's 400,000. If it's 1,000 to 4,999, it's 225. And if it's 1 to 999, it is 125,000. So eligible activities. Public facilities improvements include construction, reconstruction, or rehabilitation of a park, playground, or green space that is publicly owned or to be publicly owned, where the service area is primarily residential and serving an LMI area to provide outdoor recreation and fitness opportunities to residents while enabling appropriate social distancing to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Acquisition, the property must be vacant prior to application. Clearance and demolition, and administration. Up to $50,000 is available for administration, and no pre-agreement costs are allowed. So eligible activities, outdoor fitness and recreation parks must be open and available for public use by all residents of the jurisdiction. Options for handicap and disabled persons are required to be included in the design and construction of the facility. Reasonable fees may be charged for the use of the facilities, assisted with CDBG funds, but charges such as excessive membership fees, which will have the effect of excluding low to moderate income persons from using the facilities, are not permitted. Ineligible costs. Clearance and demolition on property with no end use related to COVID-19. The purchase of equipment or other movable property. So we're only allowing permanent fixtures. Indoor facilities with the exception of bathrooms. The bathroom must not be the only improvement that the park is making, otherwise it will be disqualified. Fields or facilities for organized sports. Basketball, baseball, these are contact sports, and those are not eligible. And costs that have or will be paid by another source. Procurement. If you are planning on using federal dollars to procure administrative or engineering or architectural firms, you must follow the federal procurement guidelines. If you're using federal dollars to procure consultants, engineers, or architects, OCD must review and approve all RFPs and RFQs. If only one response is received, please contact our office, because the purpose of doing the RFP and RFQ is to get a competitive process going. If only one response is received, there might be something wrong with the timeline or something like that. So it will probably have to go out to bid again. And we are available for technical assistance. So here is the procurement staff: myself, William Hall, and Denise McGee. You can email any of us and we will be happy to assist. Citizen participation. So all applicants and grantees must develop and adopt a citizen participation plan prior to the application preparation in order to be in compliance with Section 508 of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. A copy of the public notices and proofs of publication must be included in the application package. One for the citizen participation requirements and one for making the application available for review. So the first, public notice. Public hearings must be scheduled early in the planning process to ensure adequate participation and still have time to develop the application. The purpose is for the public to have input into the application process and to the decision for using the funding, for the use of funding. A minimum of 5 calendar days notice shall be given. In addition, the applicant and grantee must provide citizens with reasonable and timely access to the public hearings. The location and times of these hearings must be scheduled in such a manner as to be convenient to potential or actual beneficiaries, with accommodations for the handicapped and non-English speaking persons. A second public notice must be published after the first public hearing has been held and prior to the application being submitted. Citizens must be given the opportunity to review and comment on the completed application. This notice must be published a minimum of 7 calendar days prior to the application submittal. The second notice must inform citizens of the proposed objectives, proposed activities, and the location of the proposed activities and the amounts to be used for each activity. The application must be available for review when the notice is published in the newspaper. So here are some common mistakes from round 1. Each section of the application has specific instructions that need to be followed. For the general information form, what we saw was that the chief elected official signature and date application signed. The application should have been signed prior to being available for review. The resolution approving the submission of the application and signatory authority for official documents was also not included. So the budget cost summary form, in section 1 of the form, make sure that column E is completed and showing the source of other funds, whether it be local, federal, other federal money, or whatever it is. We need to know where that's coming from. And in section 2, only show the CDBG CV funding. The jurisdictional maps. So we need to see the outline of the entire jurisdiction. So the jurisdiction, whether it's a city, a town, or a village, we need to be able to see the entire outline. We need to see the number and percentage of the minority population. We need you to show the number and percentage of low to moderate income population. We need to show the concentration of minorities and low to moderate income persons on the map. If evenly dispersed throughout the jurisdiction, include such a statement on the map. Show the location of the proposed facility or facilities improvements on the map, and make sure the map is eligible. I know a lot of y'all are, most of everybody emailed them to us. Just be mindful, because some came out and they were completely black when we printed them out. So if you could just make sure that they're legible before you submit, that would be great. So on the facility form, each facility needs a separate form. Blocks 3 and 4 need to be complete, and the information must be for the entire jurisdiction or municipality. So a lot of the errors we saw, people were putting the information for the census tract and the block group that the park is in, and that may, these were chosen because your entire village, city, and town are 51% or higher LMI. So we need the whole city or the whole town or the whole village's information on there. Attachments 11, 12, and 13 must also be included in the application. Attachment 11 is a complete project design, which I'll talk about in a minute, the documentation of ownership, and the engineer and architect cost estimates that are stamped and signed. So for the project description, in the application package on pages 7 and 8, item 11 goes through all of the information that we need. All of the items need to be addressed in the project description. It's information on the use of the property, any information on the handicap, what you're going to do for handicap and persons and disabled persons, things of that nature. When you're explaining the plans for use of the facility, be very specific what the CDBG CV funds will be used for. Supporting activities like bathrooms, parking lots, lighting, drainage, etc. We'll need an explanation of the areas of the facility that will benefit from these improvements. Ownership documentation. Most people have been submitting stuff from the tax assessor's office to prove ownership. But if the applicant is not the facility owner and will not acquire the property, a long-term lease agreement will be required, or an intergovernmental agreement if it's a political subdivision. The leases must be for a minimum of 15 years. If you have any questions about the documentation that you have, please contact us and we can help you. So the cost estimate. A detailed cost estimate has to be prepared, signed, and stamped by a professional engineer or architect licensed in the state of Louisiana. The estimate needs to contain all project costs, including the cost of construction, design fees, and any other project costs. The construction estimate shall be a listing of construction items, such as the bid proposal, estimated quantity, unit of measure, unit price, and amount. The maximum amount of contingency that we are allowing in this project is 10%. And please also include the number of weeks that the construction will be. The engineering and architectural cost certification. If the local government is paying for these costs, the chief elected official must sign and date the form and provide the resolution by the local government approving the engineering firm to be hired. The same goes with the administrative cost certification. There needs to be a resolution that the administrative costs are going to be covered. All of the administrative costs are going to be covered by the local government. So if the local government is going to self-administer the grant, you will need to provide the person or persons responsible for the program administration, their job title and position, and a brief listing of their previous experience, either administering CDBG grants or other federal programs. A copy of the resolution passed by the local government stating that local funds will be used to pay all administrative costs incurred must be included in the application. OCD must approve any municipalities that will self-administer based on the following criteria: the scope and size of project, previous audits, experience of staff member or members administering the project, past performance with CDBG projects. So if the local government decides to self-administer, we just want to make y'all understand what you need to, what you'll be responsible for. The ERR is something that will be required of the administrator, and we will not reimburse for this expense if the unit of government decided to pay for administration. Other responsibilities include, but are not limited to, clearing contract conditions, requests for payments, monitoring preparation and response, maintaining the grant files, and closeout. So for more information, you can visit our website, and the link is below. And there is information on the citizen participation requirements, the application packages on there, the guidelines for the project are on there. This slideshow will be posted after the webinar, and then we will also, since we're recording this, we can post a link to the recording on the website. Are there any questions?
Chrissy, I think we've answered everything that we have in the chat so far. So, and people can't talk on this one, but if you have a question, if you put it in the chat or the Q&A, we can answer those live.
Okay. The grant, Suzanne, the grant will be due, it is due by June 1st of 2022. If you get everything in and you want to submit it early, you are welcome to submit, and we will review as we get them in. And we're also going to try and get the Q&A from here posted on the website as well. That's the plan, right, Heather?
That's right.
Okay. Can you tell us which slides correlate with item 12? Let me pull up the application. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. That is the application. Can y'all see the application?
Yes.
Okay. So that's, I can't, let's see. Heather, what was the question? Because now that I shared the screen, I can't see. From Beth Ricks.
It was, can you tell us which slide correlates with item 12 on the general information form?
Okay, so here's the general information form. That's the first page. And then the item 12 is right here. I'm assuming you're referring to the chief elected official. So the chief elected official must sign on line 12, attesting that all the information in the application is true and correct. And then a resolution from the council authorizing the application for the LLOP funding and signatory authority for the official signing documents is included.
Okay, got it. You can stop screen sharing.
Okay.
Someone asked, does each require a resolution or can they all be included in one?
And so I guess it can be done either way. I know a lot of people have submitted their resolutions for the administrative consultant and the engineering on one resolution. And then we've also had a couple of people include the resolution for the council authorizing the application on the same resolution as well. But we've seen it, the majority of the time, it has been separate. But a lot of times, I mean, it could very well be all on one because it's gonna all be, as long as everything is included, it can be on one. And if you have any questions about that, just call us and let us know and we can help you. No problem. Yeah, I mean, we don't want this to be anything that is difficult. You know, we're really excited about this project. And we're looking forward to going out and monitoring all of these when we get them up and rolling. Suzanne, so I guess why don't you call me after? Because I guess it depends on what you want to change, if that makes sense.
If you're doing a one application or new application in round 2 that you didn't do in round 1. So not just, some people had to make some revisions and they still have time. But if you're doing a different application in round 2 than you did in round 1, you could change the scope.
Heather, you kind of faded out.
Oh, sorry. I realized
That's
I'm talking into the wrong screen. You can change it, but it still has to be an eligible activity. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you. Does that help, Suzanne? Okay.
Yes, you could change it. It doesn't have to be the same, but you could change it. It just has to be eligible.
And if you have any questions about whether or not what y'all want to do is eligible, just please call us. Anything else?
I think we're good for now.
Okay. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us today. And if you have, when will round 1 be awarded? So I sent over some award letters today for the governor to sign. That's why we need the round 1 revisions to us as soon as possible so we can get those out and we know how much money we can award in round 2. So the faster y'all get us, I think we gave y'all till March 11th. of 2022. So if the sooner you get the stuff into us, the sooner we can start awarding the other projects. And if that is it, thank y'all so much for joining us today. If y'all have any questions, please just shoot us an email. We are here to assist y'all in any way we possibly can. Thank y'all so much.